I knew better than that.
I know. But we got. I think we got everything lined up that we need to have tonight.
I think we
See
do.
Ruth already. Ruth isn't here, and we always go, "Who's going first? Who's going first? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna do this?" So tonight we're gonna be missing our Ruth, but
I
she's off
know.
doing something fun. So we'll let the listeners know what it is she's doing when we get
Yes.
through with our opening. But I think we've got our guest tucked away. She's got an
Yep.
amazing book. I'm excited about her.
Beautiful, cute book. Oh my
Her
goodness.
meeting everybody and sharing with us tonight. You have your weekend review prepared, Victoria.
Not, not so much, but it's okay. Come up with something.
It's
Don't,
not like we didn't know we were going to do this tonight, right?
I know, right? I
But we're
know.
going to do that, and we got some interesting notes here for our author this evening. So I'm really excited that she is going to be with us and going to be sharing with.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to the new journey, not a new journey coming up. See, we got some people coming in, and Alan's going to
Yes.
let us know if we have any folks from other places that are going to be
Mm-hmm.
with us
I'll
tonight.
let you know as I
I
see them.
can't see who's
In the
who's
meantime, it
joining
is time
us.
to roll the open.
All right, roll them.
Thanks, Alan.
All right, here we go,
Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome everybody to Authors Up, your favorite place to be on Sunday evening, right, Victoria?
That's right. Favorite place, that music right there. Yeah.
Good evening, Angie. Glad to have you in the house tonight. That's our South Carolina connection coming in. Glad to have you, Angie. I tell you what, it has been a busy week. It has been an awesome week. It has been a good week. And we're going to tell you a little bit about our week in review. But we're going to start by saying, there is a box missing. Miss
Yes.
Ruth is not with us tonight, but she is off doing some fun stuff. And next week, I hope she will tell us all about it in her week in review. But
Yep.
I will give you a little peek at it. She went to see her family in New Jersey, and she's gone to see her little baby sister, and she is so cute. She
She
is so,
is.
so
She
sweet.
is.
So
We had to have pictures, and Ruth did not disappoint.
yes. It was good for you to be away, Ruth. But I tell you what, we miss you. It's never the same when one of us is out of pocket. But
Yeah, it's not the same, but we're gonna make it do what it do though.
we're gonna do our best. That's for sure. We're gonna do our best, and we're gonna go on and get started with our weekend review. So, Miss Victoria, what you been up to?
How did I was first? That part we didn't have. That's okay. That's okay. Let's see. What did I do last week? I worked. I had a few. Honestly, had some personal challenges with in my home life, and it was a very it was a tough week. It was a tough week,
Mhm.
but I made it through, and that's all I could say is I made it through. And one of my taglines when I used to sing, I would say, we're gonna praise the Lord tonight, and remember that to get through, you got to go through. And that's what I held on. To
Yeah.
get through, you gotta go, you just gotta go through it. And so how do you go through it? With prayer and praise on your lips and worship. And I remember one day I just didn't feel like getting out of bed, but all I could do was say, ask God for strength. And he did it. He did it yet again. And he's a
Yeah.
keeper. He's a keeper.
Yes.
So I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be here live. Welcome to all our friends on Facebook and our friends who listen around the world. We welcome you in who listen to the podcast. We are so grateful that you are here too. Just had to shout y'all out. But with that said, my week was interesting, but it was good. And I say good because I'm still here to praise God and for another day. So I'm grateful, grateful, grateful. One thing we did together Friday night, our church had a
Oh,
Coming
yes.
to America gala. And when you hear Coming to America, you already know. We dressed up in African garb and like kings and queens, and it
Yeah.
was just wonderful. It was a wonderful event. You could feel the joy in the room,
Yeah.
and that really helped me a lot. Just I walked into the room, everybody smiling, and everybody was dressed up. Some more dressed than the others, but everyone was dressed in some form of fashion. It was a beautiful, beautiful night, and we got plenty of pictures. Oh, it was just really, really nice. It was a beautiful thing for the church to do for the church family, and it was just a nice, coming out of the pandemic, having an event like that where we could all get together and just enjoy it was no stress. We just all we had to do was show up, and the food was good. It was just wonderful, and I had a good time.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
I did. I
Yeah,
thoroughly enjoyed myself.
beautiful.
And I think sometimes we need to do more of that. You
Yeah,
know, we work so much and so hard and we're so busy and we don't take time all the time
yes,
to just say, you know what, I'm gonna do something for me. I'm gonna put on my party clothes.
yes. Yes,
Just dress up and go somewhere and have a good time. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And
and
I had a good week. I had a
okay.
busy week. And I'm busy getting things together for next year. So I
Mhm.
will let those of you who are on the line who coming back in the replay know there will be some things coming out in January, and one of them will be to mark your calendar for June the 10th. June
Okay,
the
June
10th.
10th.
Details are coming.
Woo,
Details.
June 10th. All right, let me write that down.
I will be celebrating 5 years in broadcasting, either
All
just with my
right,
show in combination
congratulations.
with the station ALH Broadcasting, and I'm excited about it. Going to have some former guests come back
Yeah.
and
Oh,
be with us. It's going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable, and I want a lot of the family, the ALH Broadcasting family, to be there. So that's going to be coming up next year. We had I oh you will be I am pleased to report
okay.
that I actually decorated my house for Christmas.
Yay, you beat me. You beat me.
Now let me tell you why that's significant. I remember the year that it was Christmas Eve, and my kids said, you think it's still too early to put up the tree?" Because I to say I am last minute Lucy is an understatement. I mean, I just couldn't quite get it together. So this year I said, I'm going to put up my tree. I'm going to do something that my mom used to do all the time. My mother always kept the dining room table set.
Okay.
Always. It was always set
My
um,
mother too.
with her stemware and her crystal
Uh-huh.
and I pulled all of that out and dressed my table and put my centerpiece up and just brought back memories of her
Yeah. Good
and
for you.
family. But I was happy that I had a chance to do that. And
That's good.
yeah, so it made for a good week for me. Made for a good week for me.
That's good.
Do you want to, before we go into the bio of our guest, you want
Yes.
to remind folk about the bundle?
Yes, yes, yes.
this
As
month.
some of you may know, some of you may not know, we do a book bundle giveaway every quarter, and we're going to do that for this last quarter as well. And in the book bundle will be 5 books from authors that have been on our show, as well as an Authors Up mug. It is just awesome. So, in order to be entered into the contest, this is mainly for our Facebook people. We would like you to comment on the broadcast. If you just sending us questions or just making comments about what you may hear, and anyone who makes comments, we will put your name down. And I believe we're going to do the drawing. What's the first Sunday in January?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
first Sunday in January. Everybody's name who's entered in, we're going to put your name on our wheel and let the wheel spin and pick a winner who will again be able to get that book bundle. We also have a Authors Up journal that we have now available for sale.
Right.
And if you follow us on email, our on any of our social media platforms, you will find information on how to get a journal from us. It's a wonderful Christmas present. It's not too late to get your journal. It is a beautiful book. I'm using it myself. So that's our shameless plug for the Authors Up journal.
So Angie, you're going on the wheel. So just know that you are entered in. You are entered into the drawing, and those who will be coming on later will be entered in as well.
Yes.
So Victoria, why don't you tell us a little bit about our special author for this
All
evening?
right, for tonight, her name is Sheryl Bass, and Sheryl holds a master's degree in social work and has studied child development. She uses these insights to inform her picture book writing. Sheryl also holds a master's degree in journalism and is currently working in public relations. Her goal in creating Be Kind Publishing is to produce lighthearted rhyming stories with gentle themes of teamwork and friendship. Cheryl resides just outside of Chicago, Illinois, with her husband and 2 terriers. And if you just hold on 1 second, we'll be right back and we'll be able to talk with Cheryl about her book, Baby Dragon's Big Sneeze. Hold on, we'll be right back. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hi,
Welcome.
thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. It is our pleasure, believe me. Usually Ruth steps in and begins the process, the interview process. She's not with us tonight. So Victoria and I are going to be trading back and forth. So we're going to be coming at you with some stuff. But I'm going to let Victoria go ahead and get started as we usually do. And go ahead, Victoria.
All righty.
Okay.
Cheryl, again, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. And I love the book. It is just as cute as it can be. It is beautiful, guys. It is well illustrated. It is a wonderful story. So, Cheryl, tell us about your book.
Well, it started, the whole concept for the book started about 13 years ago when I sneezed. And I had a very big sneeze. And I remember having the ridiculous thought that it's a good thing I'm not a dragon, because if I were, this would have done a lot of damage. So then I thought, oh, that sounds like a picture book idea. So I went ahead and started writing it.
Mhm.
And I sat on it for a while. And then I started sending it to literary agents and publishing houses. And not a lot happened with that. And
Wow.
so just about 6 months ago, well, I got it edited and made some edits and changes to it and decided to go about the process of self-publishing.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, how
Mhm.
long did it take you to write it? When now I heard you how you came up with your concept, which was amazing. Isn't that something
Oh,
how
thank
just a thought would just turn into such a beautiful book for you? Well, how long did it take you to write it, write down the story?
It's hard to quantify because it was in fits and starts, you know?
Okay.
So there was the initial draft that probably took an hour and a half, something like that. And then,
Hmm.
but this has changed and expanded with my edits. So,
Okay.
so basically, it's about a dragon who gets a cold and inadvertently he sneezes and he accidentally burns down a village. Um, but with the editing process, that actually made it take a little longer because the first round of edits, my editor found holes in the story. So,
Okay.
for example, she said, "Well, where's the dragon's parents? You know, why does he need other people to help him? Where are his parents?" So then I had to add in parts about explaining why his parents weren't in the picture and
Right.
some other things like that. So so that added, you know, a couple more hours back and forth. And
Yeah.
so probably all told, maybe 5 hours to write and
Mhm.
Oh,
edit.
okay.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
but
I
But
it's
love
only about 400 words. So,
okay. Okay.
but that's 400 beautiful words. But
oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
you were talking before we came on about the fact that it was a rhyming book and
Yes.
why that was important. So tell us about that. As a poet, I'm always interested in anything that's rhyming. So
Mm.
so
Well, yeah, that was some of the feedback that I got back from, interestingly, from some of the literary agents and the publishing houses. They were somewhat negative, some of them, about
Hmm.
rhyme, and so some of them would just send me back saying, you know, something saying, "I don't like rhyme," and that was their whole response. Um,
Oh, wow.
and so, yeah, I've gotten that. Um, there are different things that go in and out of fashion in different types of book genres. And I
Hmm.
guess right now, rhyming is not as big a trend right now with children's fiction, children's picture books, which I think is unfortunate because there's research that shows that rhyming for children is great. It helps encourage reluctant
Right.
readers. It helps with language acquisition and vocabulary.
mhm.
Um, and it helps the children develop a sense of rhythm and
Right.
also to anticipate what the next word is going to be. So, so it can be very helpful, and that's why nursery rhymes, for example, are such
Right.
a big thing with children.
Mhm.
So, I'm a big proponent of rhyme, and I intend to make my other future children's books rhyme as well.
All right. So that leads me to the question: is this your first book?
Yes, this is my first children's picture book. I've had short stories, actually one short story that's been kind of rewritten a couple of different ways, but that's been published in an anthology, in two different anthologies actually that have been published they're available on Amazon. Both of them have to do with the experience of being a stage mother for my a dog that's since passed away, but she
Oh,
Um,
played Toto in Boulder Dinner Theater's production of Wizard of Oz.
oh, wow.
So, yeah, so it was that experience of being stage mom to my dog and what that was
oh,
like. So one of the books is called Lost Souls Found: Inspiring Stories About Chihuahuas by Kyla Duffy and Lowry Mumford. And the other one's called Second Chance Dogs: True Stories of the Dogs We Rescue and the Dogs Who Rescue Us,
wow.
edited by Callie Smith Grant. So both of those are
Oh,
available on
That's good.
oh, that's
Amazon.
nice.
Dogs we rescue and the dogs that rescue us.
Rescue us.
I
Mhm.
I like that. Wow. Now, in the Dragon book, one of the things that really I think captured our hearts was the illustration.
Hmm.
It is just it is a bright book. That's how I
Mhm.
like to describe it. It's a bright book. And you said you had a copy of it there, Cheryl. You
Yes.
Can
can
you
you just
show us?
Just kind of flip through it, or do you want me to read any of it?
Oh,
Or?
just show
oh
the
yeah,
cover. I'm like,
want to
yes.
see it
Y'all
first
see
of all.
that?
Isn't he adorable? He's an adorable little dragon there. That
Baby
baby dragon.
Dragon's Big Sneeze.
Yes,
It's
yes.
so
But
nice.
yeah, if you would like to, we would love to have you read some of it. Just
Okay.
pick a part and go ahead.
I just realized I'm in my bedroom right now, and you can see that my bed is behind me. So, um, I'm not that pro yet. So, just so you know.
Hey,
Okay.
you're okay.
So anyway, okay. So this is Baby Dragon's Big Sneeze, and I'm only going to read to page 11. I'll leave it on a cliffhanger, so people will want to read the book.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I will tell you a story from legends of old of a huge baby dragon who caught a bad cold. He had soared through the villages just as he pleased until one autumn day he regrettably sneezed. And I don't
Look
know
at
if you
those
can see
Yeah,
that.
there it
pictures.
is. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
There he is flying over
Look at that village.
the village. Yep. Okay. And then, okay. Fire burst from his mouth and it burned every shack. So the townspeople planned a great dragon attack. So here he is sneezing.
Oh,
And then here's the people trying to douse water on the, and then here's people with pitchforks ready to attack him.
oh.
This is so pretty. It's so
When he saw what he did, the young dragon got scared and wrote an apology note that declared, "For weeks I've been flying around having fun. I never intended to hurt anyone, but I caught a bad cold and then suddenly sneezed. Yes, I burned all your houses and now you're displeased."
Oh, he felt bad. Look at his sad eyes.
If someone could help me to finally mend, I'd love to assist you and be your new friend. He was planning to leave them the note overnight before any people could find him and fight.
Oh,
Love that. Love it. Love it.
those
And
pictures
I'll
out.
leave it there. Basically, though, after this, he encounters a little girl who talks to him about why he did this. It doesn't make sense to her that he would suddenly be flying around harmless and then all of a sudden pick one day and attack them. So while
Yeah.
they're ready with pitchforks, she decides to go into his cave and confront him and ask him why he did this.
Beautiful.
And she ends up basically being the hero of the story. So saves the
Beautiful.
dragon, saves the town. So
Where did you find your illustrator? How did you find them?
okay, well, this book is self-published, and the term self-publishing, just so people know, is a little bit of a misnomer. I really thought when I started this journey, I was going to have to buy some kind of a book like Self-Publishing for Dummies or similar, and I would have to go on YouTube and watch videos and try and figure out how to do this all myself. However, I'm a member of Society for Children's Book Writers and Illustrators and Children's Book Insider. And in both of those groups, they're on their websites, they have videos of things. And so I found through one of the two of them a video of a woman named April Cox. And she has a business called Self-Publishing Made Simple. And she walks you through the entire process, how to get ISBN codes, which is like it looks like it's this.
The number.
The number, how to get that, and how to do the how to file with the Library of Congress and all of those types of things, finding an illustrator and so on. And so she has several vendors that she works with for all of these things. And she had about 12 illustrators. And she had me look at the websites of those 12 illustrators and pick the maybe 3 or 4 that I liked the best. So then I picked those 4 and she said, okay, have those 4 all draw the same scene from your book. Pick a scene, have them all draw the same one. And I paid them each $50 for black and white, just to sketch. Yeah. And then I was able to then narrow it down to my top 2. And then I had my friends and family as my focus group, and I had them vote on which of those 2 illustrators they liked the best. And then that one ended up being Ramesh Ram of Pryan Animation. And that's the one who won my little testing situation, my voting.
Wow.
And became my
I think that is an excellent way of doing it. An excellent way of doing it. And I tell you what, you chose the right one.
Yes.
You really did. Yeah. Did you have to do, since that's the process you went through, did you have to do a lot of back and forth, or you could pretty well just send him the work and have him give you his concept, or how did that go?
I had a lot of creative control. So I told him I wanted snot coming out of the dragon's nose. I wanted his eyes to be all roomy and bloodshot, and that I wanted him to look a little goofy, maybe to have a snaggle tooth hanging out. So I was very particular about what I wanted the people to be wearing, and what color hair the girl has, about how old she is, all of that stuff. which I would not have been able to do had this been traditionally published,
Right.
because I
Right.
don't draw myself. So I would not be an author illustrator. And if this
Mhm.
had been traditionally published, the publishing house would pick the illustrator, and I would have no say
No
so in what the
control.
dragon looked like or the girl or anything. So I
Right.
really enjoyed having the creative control, and seeing my vision come to life on the page was
Yeah.
wonderful.
I
Yes.
bet. I
Hmm.
bet. Wow. So speaking of that, what would you say would be the pros and cons of self-publishing? We talked about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, self-publishing, one of the pros, like I said, is that creative control.
Mm-hmm.
Another pro to self-publishing is the royalties. The
Right.
royalties are a lot higher with self-publishing. They can be 40 to 50%, whereas with traditional publishing, the royalties are only something like 10 to 12%.
Hmm.
Mm.
One of the cons of self-publishing is there is an initial output of quite a bit of money.
Okay.
For a children's picture book, because you're spending probably around $3,000 to $4,000 just on the illustrator alone.
Wow.
And then you've got to, if you're new to this, you have to develop a website, and you have to get like a DBA, doing business as,
Yes.
probably, and that was my Be Kind Publishing. And so all of those kind of things I had to do from the ground up. And it ends up being between $10,000 and $15,000 to
Wow.
do a self-published book.
Okay. Okay.
People can do Kickstarter or get a personal loan or something like that. So there's more of the money initially. But another advantage to self-publishing, is that the book comes out faster.
Okay.
So whereas with traditional publishing, it can take years, but with self-publishing, it can be just a matter of months. So
Okay.
while I was working on this, my father was very ill, and I
Mhm.
really was trying to not rush to make a bad product, but trying to get this done so that he could hold it in his hands before he passed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, he passed away while the illustrations were still in black and white, but I
Oh,
was able to do the dedication to him.
okay.
And if it were traditionally published, I wouldn't even be able to do a dedication, because traditionally published children's books don't have a dedication. So that was
Right.
another thing with the creative control, where I was able to do that. Um, so the book comes out, and also another advantage to self-publishing is that you get a little more time to get your name out there and do the
Right.
publicity and so on with self-publishing. Whereas traditional publishing, if you're not, bringing in the money right away, then, it can be out of print, and that's the end of it. So this
Okay.
really
Wow.
worked for me.
It sure has. It sure has. It's
How
beautiful.
has the reception been for the book?
Fantastic. It's been
Really
great. I'm getting a lot of really wonderful reviews on Amazon,
good.
and people in my life. I'm keeping my books in my car now, because people are coming up to me and saying, "Oh, I'd like a copy." And
Great.
some people, either they don't like Amazon, or they don't know, if they're
Right.
older, they're not as tech savvy, they don't know how to use it. But I'm
Right.
also, if a person has an issue with Amazon, I'm also on the Walmart website as well with my books.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. That's
yeah,
great. Congratulations.
thank you.
When did your book come out?
October 19th.
All right. That's awesome.
Great. That
That
is great.
I
really.
wanted it in time for Christmas also, because
Oh,
it's a good
good,
stocking
good, good. So I'm gonna say it right now to our listeners: get the book, get the book.
stuffer. Thank
That's
you.
my tagline: get the book, because it is
Thank
so
you.
beautiful. If you want a beautiful children's book for Christmas gifts, please get it, you guys. It is beautiful. I think
Thank
I'm
you
going
so
to get a
much.
couple copies too for
Oh,
some of the
wonderful.
children
Thank
in
you.
my life. It's just beautiful. Tell
Hmm.
us about Be Kind Publishing, and you did speak to us earlier about social emotional learning. So
Yep.
tell our listeners and our viewers how that relates to the products that you are putting out.
Okay. Well, this book has messages in it about teamwork, sharing, um, giving others the benefit of the doubt, not just assuming something about somebody else. Because remember, everyone
Mhm.
wants to attack the dragon, until the little
Right,
girl says, "Well, why would he suddenly attack us right now? This doesn't make
right,
sense to me." So she reserved judgment. So it's also about reserving judgment. It's also about found family, because the dragon doesn't have parents that are around to help him. He was just sort of hatched in this cave, and he's lonely and needs help. About friendship, kindness, all of those types of messages, those pro-social messages. And I noticed I have some other books that are in draft form that I'm working on. And they all have this overarching theme of kindness and gratitude and all of these kinds of pro-social values. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to write these other books as well, I want to create a publishing house that speaks to all of these types of messages, social emotional learning, which at this stage, and I'm not a teacher, so my understanding of social emotional learning at this stage for this age group is basically that it's a lot of these pro-social values that we try to teach our children, that actually when you grow up, and they call it soft skills in the workplace, these are the same types of behaviors that employers look for. So and now is a great time for kids to be learning this, because with the pandemic and everything, a lot of kids have spent several years at home. And say if a child is 7 years old now, they spent the last 3 years at home, they're a little bit behind. They're missing those last few years of the give and take that you have in a classroom, and learning to take turns and all of those types of things with other kids. And so they're not getting that. So I called this Be Kind Publishing, because I have other books in the works that are going to have these kind of messages as well. And also it's sort of a riff on the expression, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Is sort of why I call it Be Kind Publishing.
Yes.
So,
I do want to say
Be-Kind Publishing. I just threw the hyphen in there because I didn't want to step on any other copywriting issues. So if somebody else said Be Kind, so I put a little hyphen in there.
I do want to mention Trelyn Ussery is on the line with us. Trelyn is also a children's author and an author of children's books, I should say. And she said, "You are teaching, ma'am," says the teacher.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
He's sending that message to you. And I just wanted to throw in here too, give the gift of words, people. I have gotten some of Trelyn's books for my goddaughters. They're 8 years old, and had her sign it for them. And they were so tickled, not only to get the book, but to have something that has their name that is signed, by the author. So I think it's a wonderful, wonderful idea to if you've got some young people out there, give them a book, give them something that will last, something they can keep, they can hold in their hands, and it'll be something that they will treasure. They will really treasure. So not only am I glad about the dragon, but I'm glad to know that you have some other books in the works, and that's a great thing. But I want to go back real quick to Be Kind Publishing. If I have an idea, and I come to you and say, okay, be kind to my idea. What are some of the first things that you would tell me to do as a publishing company with my idea to try to get it from here and here onto the paper and onto a place where people can purchase it?
I would say write that awkward draft, because the first draft is going to be awkward. It's going to, but you're going to go through several iterations and not worry about it. Just get words on the page, or, type it and get it onto your screen. And because I used to be a journalist, so in journalism, you don't have time for writer's block. You have a deadline, so that actually helped me in terms of writing things like this, because you just have to get those words out there and then worry about the meter and the, especially if it's rhyming, and work with an editor and so on, and get involved in groups. I found my editor actually through a Facebook group. I've joined, before I did anything, I joined several self-publishing groups, and I posed the question in one of these self-publishing groups, okay, I want to find an editor, but how do I know that they're not going to steal my idea? And then this editor, Laura Bonche, Bontje, responded and said, I'm a children's book editor. And don't do, because I said, oh, should we do a non-disclosure agreement or a, non-compete or something? And she said, that's common in the business world. That's not common in writing. You'll out yourself as a newbie if you do that. Most good editors belong to some of these groups, like Society of Children's Books Writers and Illustrators. And their reputation would be terrible if they were to steal somebody else's idea. So if they're hooked in with these kinds of groups, that's a good indicator that they're reputable and someone to work with. Also, if it's your first time publishing, or if you want to self-publish, work with somebody, if you're willing to or able to, someone like April Cox, who will walk you through the process. And she does groups, but she also does individual. And there's other people who do that too. There's a guy named Dale, and I forget his last name, but there are people who do that. So the self-publishing, you don't have to do completely by yourself. But when an idea hits you, I used to, before there were cell phones, I used to have a little pad in my purse, and I would jot things down. Or you can text yourself, or just record your own voice in your phone,
Yes.
saying some of your ideas, before they fall, out of your brain. And also to remember that there's no rush to do this. It took me 13 years from the time I sneezed until this book actually came out into the world. So you're not being graded on when or how you do this.
Right.
So take the time that you need, and don't be discouraged, and reach out for help. So
Awesome.
yeah.
I think that is such a good point that you make. You are your own timeline. And so many times when we enter into projects, we are so focused on the end that we don't get to enjoy the journey in the middle. And I think writing is truly a joy in the middle kind of journey. You have said it, and Trelyn mentioned it tonight as well. And she liked the term that you used about that awkward draft. Ruth always tells us, just write. Editing is an entirely different process. To just write and know and understand that first iteration is not going to be it. It's not going to be the end. And to be able to say, it took me 13 years to do this, but it took me 5 minutes to write this. Five, what was it? 5 months.
5 hours altogether.
5 hours altogether to get it on paper. But to go from concept, that concept, and to take your time and to go through the process of the story and getting those that input that you got from other people to round it out so that it could be what you wanted it to be. I think fantastic lesson. Don't quit. You got an idea, work that idea and do it until you get it where you want it to be, and you will produce a wonderful, wonderful book like Sheryl.
Oh,
yes, it is a beautiful book. It really is.
Thank you
As cute as it can be, y'all. So can you tell our viewers and our listeners, excuse me, how they could get in touch with you and your publishing company, or, are you on social media, and how they can get the book?
So the book is available on Amazon. If you just type in Baby Dragon's Big Sneeze, or you type in Sheryl Bass, Sheryl with an S, you should find it. And then my website is be-kindpublishing.com. And there's links to my Instagram and my Facebook from there. My Facebook is be-kind publishing. But my Instagram, I had to do be.kind.publishing as my Instagram page. But if someone wants to email me, they can email me at info@be-kindpublishing.com. Now, but I want to also just make clear that Be Kind Publishing does not accept other people's work, really. It's more just a micro publisher for my own. It's a DBA for my own book.
Gotcha.
So even though other people may have wonderful manuscripts, please don't send them to me, because there's nothing I can do to help you with your own.
Thank you for clearing that up, because I would have thought too that you would publish other people's, but no, it's just not yet. You're like, not yet. Not
yet. I don't know enough to be able to do a good enough job with somebody else's work.
You know a lot. You shared that with us tonight. It's really good.
Alan, can you put Trelyn's comment up on the line, because she has typed out that the contact information that Sheryl just gave us? If you can put her comment up, just to make sure that we have it right, that will be wonderful. And we want to thank our friends from Toronto for coming in tonight.
Yes.
Always glad to have you with us. Yeah, there it is. Everybody take a look.
Yes,
Is
that is correct.
right? Okay.
Okay.
bekindpublishing.com and info@be-kindpublishing. Yep.
Okay.
All
That's
right,
great.
great. Thank
Trelyn,
you,
thanks for
Trellis.
helping us out there. We appreciate that. Appreciate that. Cheryl, Victoria, did you have something else that you wanted to ask Cheryl?
I want to just really quickly, we talked about beforehand too the benefits of rhyming because Cheryl's book is in rhyme. And Cheryl, could you just explain to our listeners really quick what that benefit of rhyming does for a child?
So it helps with language acquisition and language development, expands the vocabulary. It encourages reluctant readers
Mm-hmm.
because they can anticipate what word is going to be next. And it also helps with a sense of rhythm.
All
So,
right.
and I've read from some of the reviews on Amazon that some people said that their children, after they read this to them, tried to find other things that rhymed around the house. They
Oh,
sort of played it as a
wow.
game, and
Ah,
so that's really educational for kids too.
All
So,
right. Yes, yes. I love it. I love it. After being closed in on the pandemic, we need all the help we can get to get our children where they need to be. So thank
mhm.
you. I appreciate you
Oh,
so
thank
much
you.
being here tonight. Really
Oh, thank
do.
you so much for having me. This has been fun.
Cheryl, if there is something that you would like to leave with our listeners tonight, either in terms of the writing process or just in terms of the importance of the social understanding of social emotional learning and those things, what do you want to leave us with tonight?
Well, the social emotional learning cannot be oversold. That's really important for people and for kids. And there are actually a lot of children's books now that are doing that, that are talking about feelings and how to deal with your feelings appropriately and so on. And I think that's really important. And I think that if someone does choose to get this book, it's really a great conversation starter with their children. So, in an age appropriate way. So, after the story is over, it might be something to discuss with your child. So, what did the dragon do when he realized that he burned down the village? Well, he wrote an apology note. And why was that important? Why is it important to apologize when somebody makes a mistake? And to
Mhm.
really use it as a jumping off point for discussion and not just say goodnight and give them a kiss
Right.
and go to bed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
mentioned age appropriate. What is the appropriate age for the baby dragon readers?
well, it's for anyone from 3 to 7 or 8. At 3 years old, you probably are just reading the story and showing them the pictures, and they're enjoying the pictures. But
Hmm.
as they get older, some of these kinds of questions and issues can be discussed. And it also has themes of found family, um, reciprocity, sharing, trust, teamwork, um,
Yes.
those sorts of things as well. And it makes
Friendship
a great
and love.
talking starter.
Yes, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Cheryl, thank you so much for being with us this evening and for
You're
bringing
welcome.
us the baby dragon and his big
Mhm.
sneeze.
Oh,
It's a
thank you. And
great
everybody,
story.
write. Just write your story. You have something in you. Everyone has something to say. Everyone has something
Tell
in them.
them. Tell
Yeah.
them.
Right. That's right. We say everybody's got a story to
Story
tell.
to tell.
Hmm.
Just depends on whether or not they want to tell it. But
Yes.
I tell you, this has been great. You have given us a wealth of information this evening
Thank
uh,
you.
about getting these ideas on paper, the importance of them, and just how one idea can take you down an amazing path. And
Hmm.
I had it on my sheet of things to ask you. Why dragon? Why did you come up with the dragon? How did that happen? And you just explained it so simply. You said I sneezed.
Right.
So don't take these things for granted, folks. They're things that you are getting, they're downloads that you are getting you're supposed to turn them into something. So don't
Amen.
be afraid to do that. Trelyn had one other thing. She said 3 is a pivotal age. And she thanks you very much, Cheryl, for the things that you have brought to us tonight.
Oh, well,
This
thanks to her
has
as well.
Yes, this has been a great thing, and it's always good to have. It's good that we have listeners who don't write at all,
Right.
and it's really rewarding when we have other writers and authors on the line and who
Mm.
can share their thoughts about your work as well. So
Mhm.
we thank you. We thank
Thank
you
you.
tonight for being with us, Cheryl,
Thank
and
you so much.
we look forward to having you back as your other characters and other works
Yep.
unfold.
Great.
I know they're going to be amazing as well.
Thank
Victoria, do
you.
you have any closing comments for
Well,
tonight?
just thank everybody for joining us tonight. We miss our Ruth, mwah, mwah, wherever you are, Ruth.
Safe, Ruth.
Thanks, Cheryl. Again, you listeners and viewers, get the book. You won't be sorry. And if anybody has any questions, concern, any comments, please send us an email at authorsup@gmail.com.
And you know where we will be next week? We will be right back here at 7 p.m. This is our favorite place to be on Sunday night, and we
It
hope
is.
will make it your favorite as well. So come on back. You never know what's going to happen on Authors Up, and you're going to be a part of whatever that happens to be. So join us next week and come on back. We will be right back here at 7 p.m. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, viewers. Thank you again, Cheryl. Very, very happy to have you
Thank
and
you.
very glad to have you share
Good
with us.
night. Good
That
night,
is it
everybody.
for
Good night.
us for tonight. Good night, everybody. Love you and see you right back here next week for
Yes.
another segment of Authors Up.
Thank you so much.